G'day guys, Beaver from Dan Barbecue here, and today we've got the Holy Grail. Tippy top beef brisket. Now my chopping board is dwarfed by the size of this. What is it? 9 kilo brisket, 9.145 kilo brisket. Now I've only smoked a small little brisket from Woolies, and that's really my own experience with brisket. I've watched plenty of Meat Church videos. Matt from Meat Church. Some of these rubs here you can see he's been my inspiration and shown me how to smoke a brisket. Let's hope I can do him right by smoking this brisket correctly. As I said, dwarfs my chopping board. So we went down and we got 2 large ones to put together so that now our brisket is a bit more approachable to prep and create. If I've seen anything, you need a cold brisket and a sharp knife. So let's just go at this fat here. So I've watched plenty of the videos and they know all the parts. I know this is the juicy, fat, wonderful side of the brisket. This is the lean over here. This is what you feed your friends. So I am going to trim up all of this fat off here. All this fat won't get rendered down and you're just going to be left with a not so nice brisket. So I'm going to trim all this up. I won't bore you with that at the moment because my skills aren't exactly up to par, but I'll be back with you soon. Trim the brisket pretty aggressively, as you can see from this tray. Bit of meat has come off, a lot of fat has come off. This stuff is just not usable. It won't render down on the brisket and will leave you with not a great tasting brisket. Now all this extra meat you can use it for burgers, you can use it for sausages, but man's best friends here. Maverick, come here. We've got man's best friend here, Maverick, and he, actually, let me move the camera so you can see him. Come here. So as I said, we've got man's best friend here, Maverick. Maverick likes brisket. Shake. Gentle. There you go, you go enjoy that. And I know what you're gonna say, you could have eaten that, but let me move the camera again. I know what you're thinking, how could you chop off so much of that wonderful brisket, but it wouldn't cook evenly. It wouldn't cook evenly, especially with me cooking it, since I'm not exactly the pro at cooking, but you want a rounded edge. You don't want any points. Points are going to just shrivel up, not cook well, overcook, they're going to burn, and you're not going to be left with a nice juicy brisket. Having it even means an even cook, and even cook means tasty brisket. So the next part is the binder. You don't have to use a binder. I like to use a binder. Mustard. Straight on the brisket. Mustard. Straight on the brisket. Lather it on there. Mustard's on a binder. You're not going to taste it on the brisket. It just helps all the... All right, so we've put our binder on there, we popped our mustard, have a sip of beer. Now, you can just do salt and pepper for a brisket, cover in salt and pepper, put it in the smoker, it's gonna be fantastic. But we've got rubs, we're gonna use rubs. I'm going today with a hardcore carnivore black beef seasoning. It's black, it's going to go on the beef, it's going to have an incredible bark on it, and I cannot wait to taste it. You can go very liberal with the seasoning, cover the entire thing as much as you like. You're not going to overdo it. There is so much meat here that you cannot possibly over season. So we're going to hit it from a nice height so it evenly spreads, going around the entire brisket. This is brand new, so you have to give it a tap every now and then. I'm putting it all over the bench. Renee is not going to be happy with me, but that is okay. Cover this thing in seasoning. You can smell the pepper in this one. So gonna pat it on there. Next you want to get the sides. You can't forget the sides of the brisket. Going to season the sides. And that mustard, as I said before, is just going to help everything stick on well. Nearly done. This is huge, this thing. So you can seep up the rest of it for the sides on the chopping board, but we will see how we go. So press it onto there. This is going to make an incredible bark. Oh God. And then turn this one over. 9 kilo brisket. It's heavy, slippery and heavy. I know I've touched it with my seasoning hands. I'll wipe it down after. We're going to apply this to the lean side of the brisket. We're going to be cooking fat side up. Fat side up leaves you a better taste. It's what they do in Texas. It's what they do in the best smokehouses in the world. Reason they do it fat side up is it tastes better. In a lot of competitions, not that I've done a competition, but I've heard competition, they do it this side up because it leaves an incredible bark and an incredible look, but we're not going for look here, we are going for taste. We're going to let this sit here for 15, 20 minutes. That's a lie. We would be leaving it for 15, 20 minutes put in the smoker, but we've got our smoked salsa going at the moment, so we're going to leave this here to sit and adhere for a fair while. I will come back to you when we are putting it in the smoker. Righty. Brisket's going in. We're at 110 degrees Celsius or 225 degrees Fahrenheit. We're doing an overnight cook. It is 8:45 at night and I'm going to be checking on these sporadically overnight. I'm putting this on, putting the pork butt on, both at the same time. Hopefully they both fit in the smoker. Our smoke sauce and our heat is right in the center. So you can usually, on like an offset smoker, you can put the flat is this side, which you put away from it, and then the other point is called the point. That's right. So in an offset smoker, you got the smoke coming from here and all the heat coming from there. You put the point facing towards that, it's a bigger piece of meat, it's be better. Flat is thinner, it'll cook quicker, but my source of heat is right in the center and it's not gonna have that much of a problem with it. Overnight, I'm going to spritz this one, the brisket, with apple cider vinegar, couple times, and the pork butt I'm going to spritz with apple juice. I'm also going to put all the fat that we trimmed off the brisket, all the fat that we pulled off the brisket in here as well, and that's going to turn into tallow, which we'll use to wrap the brisket with tomorrow morning. Alright, let's open this bad boy up. Plenty of smoke. Brisket going in, just fits in, pork will fit in nicely. We'll shut this while we go get the pork. Back soon. Here's the dish of honor, the brisket. Now, it looks pretty good. I'm only going to take these heat-proof gloves off, spritz this with apple cider vinegar, and I'll show you. I'll be back in a second. Crisis is averted, everyone. Gloves are back on. We will now wrap the brisket. So this is just some apple cider vinegar. I'm going to spritz the top of the brisket. I'm also going to spritz the paper to make it a bit more pliable, make it a bit easier to work with. Where the brisket's sitting, I'm going to spray reasonably liberally underneath. Alrighty, and the only other thing, this here is the beef tallow that we've been cooking all night. This is the fat that we trimmed off this. We're going to reunite them together and let some of this sit underneath the brisket so it gets juicy, gets tasty, stays wet. Alrighty, tallow is underneath. Let's give this a wrap. Now, how are my wrapping skills? Ooh, we don't know. I'm going to give this a red hot crack. Probably have to move this forward a little bit. Have I cut off enough paper? We don't know. Going to wrap this one down, fold these corners wrap this one round, fold these corners. Left back up onto here. We're going to probably not have enough paper, but that's okay. Fold that underneath. I'm going to get some more paper because it's not long enough. We'll be back. Alrighty guys, we've got some bigger butcher's paper now, so it's going to fit in. Let's run this one over. Plenty of butcher's paper. Bring this back. Oh no. One thing I have failed to mention, guys, is temperatures. Overnight, I cooked them at 95 degrees Celsius or 200 degrees Fahrenheit. I did start them off at 225 degrees Fahrenheit or 110 degrees Celsius, but it was cooking a bit quicker than what I wanted to, and we had time, so we slowed it down. Low and slow is the way. So I'm now going to crank it up from the 200 degrees Fahrenheit or 95 degrees Celsius back up to the 225 just while they're wrapped, because I want them to get it to an internal temperature of just over 200. So if we only have a 200 in there, they're not going to get there. I will see you again when we're ready to take these out of the smoker. Thank you. Alrighty guys, so the brisket is done. Finished smoking. Now is time for the rest. So we're going to pull it out, leave it in the paper, wrap it up in cling wrap, chuck it in Old Faithful and leave it for a few hours. It is currently 10 o'clock. I kind of want to serve it about 1:32, so we'll be resting for 3.5 hours and serving from there. We'll see how we go. Alrighty, and here is the brisket. I can feel, not that I'm really good at it, but I can feel that it's nice and squishy and it definitely bends. I haven't got my heat-proof gloves on, so it's hot, but basically I'm going to let this sit here for about 10 minutes just to stop cooking. If I wrap it up straight away, pop in the S-kit, it'll keep cooking inside. Temperature is 205 degrees Fahrenheit, internal temperature of the brisket. So we'll let it sit for 3.5 hours and I'll show you the finished product. So due to the party, guys, I couldn't record the final product, but here are some photos to show how wonderful it turned out. Right now I'm cutting open the brisket. Video doesn't do it justice. It was so juicy. It tasted phenomenal. It was, yeah, the best of the day. Thank you for watching. Hope you can see the next video. Bye.